Hey everyone, welcome back to the Widowed Parent Podcast Live. I'm here this morning with Peggy Nielsen of Henry Ford Sandcastles Grief Support Program. Peggy, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, and I should say, so today is, as we record, it's November 19th. It's Children's Grief Awareness Day. So this is extra special. I'm wearing my blue shirt, although it's kind of light blue, so it's a little hard to tell. I see you're wearing blue as well.
Me too. Had to
Yeah.
dig through my closet to find blue, but it's an important day.
Exactly. Well, and of course, the whole month is Children's Grief Awareness Month, but today is the day within the month that has the extra emphasis. So I'm glad to be here talking with you about your program. So first of all, tell us where you are located.
So we are our offices are in Detroit, but our service area and our programs go through like Southeast Michigan. So predominantly Oakland, Wayne, and Macomb counties, but anyone who's willing to drive.
Okay, all right, that sounds good. And so tell us about your programs, and maybe first starting with what you do in normal times, because I know before this pandemic you had regular in-person programs, and eventually, presumably, we'll get back to that. And so let's hear about that first.
Yeah. So in January, not that long ago, but it feels like forever. We actually had seven in-person program sites. We partnered with community locations of schools and churches, as well as our Henry Ford Health System administrative building. So we were at across those three counties, and we offered bi-weekly groups for families with kids between the ages of 3 and 18 who've
Okay.
experienced the death of someone loved.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea that they join us, we use community volunteers that go through extensive training, and then our families would join us, have dinner together, and then we break off into individual age groups with an adult group also at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That program is ongoing, so you can join at any point after the death and stay for however long you have the need. And it was wonderful. In person was great.
Yeah.
um, we also offered a grief camp called Sandcastles Camp. We have now done it for 24 years, if you can believe
Wow.
that. And we have about 120 kids each year join us for a weekend in August.
Nice.
And that is between the ages of like second grade to high school.
Okay.
So
And so did you say it was a weekend or a few days? How long is that?
it was Friday to Sunday. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Terrific.
Overnight, no adults.
Right,
Well, there's adults, just no parent guardians.
right.
Lots of adults.
You guys staff the camp and do the
Yeah.
programming. What kinds of things do kids do at grief camp?
Grief camp is so like amazingly powerful. It's hard to put the magic and the miracles that happen into words, but I definitely will try. There's a lot of outdoor normal camping things. So they get to go swimming, and they get to go canoeing or kayaking. There's like water inflatables that they can play on. Then there's also like nature hikes. There's outdoor experiences and things like that. We do have a campfire. Every good camp has s'mores, right? So we have
Yes,
s'mores
of course.
and that whole element there. We do high ropes courses that the camp actually runs,
Wow.
and things like that. So they have that kind of self-esteem building, team building challenges that happen on Saturday morning. And then intermixed into that whole thing is the grief work. So they are broken down into groups. So they're in about groups of 8 or 9 kids within a couple years of their age,
Mm.
and go through. So we have about 5 individual group sessions that they go to. A lot of like certainly learning about what grief is and helping to identify, depending on the age group, identify the feelings and what we need to work through. And then to talk about those coping skills.
Hmm.
And then the memorials. So our activities, sometimes are really creative. Our staff is great at planning those. Like one, for example, is they have a huge board that they take a permanent marker and they write all like the good things or the things that they learned from their person who died, or their strengths and all good things. And they write that on a permanent marker. And then they take washable markers and they write all the bad all over this big wall, like
Hmm.
everything that has been bad since the moment of diagnosis or the moment of death, every negative thing that they just feel yucky about. Then we give them super soakers like the really long squirt
Oh,
guns
yeah.
filled with water, and then the whole group will go up to their board and just shoot that super soaker at the board all at the same time. And
Ah,
what happens is literally all the bad with the water, it just
just
goes
like
right off the board,
washes down. Yeah.
washes down. So it's kind of a physical process of like stating what's going on, trying to kind of get rid of the bad, but the good remains.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
lots of activities like that.
That's very creative. I haven't heard of that one
Yeah,
before.
yeah. And then, of course, we do memorial services with every group has some form of candle that they've created throughout the weekend. We do have a 48 by 48-foot labyrinth that they walk prior to the memorial service.
Hmm.
So the labyrinth is a time where they center themselves. Just it's a peaceful, there's soft music playing in the background. It's lit by Christmas lights or little lights in the evening or candles. And what they do is kind of just center themselves and walk that labyrinth, walk with that person in the labyrinth. They've been given a piece of special paper that they've written a message to the person who died on the paper. They carry that and walk, hopefully intentionally, to the middle of the circle. And there's a big bowl of water in the middle of the circle. So they have a chance to they can sit there for a while. Sometimes kids will sit in the middle of the circle and kind of talk to each other. Sometimes they go and with their paper, they can put the letter to their person into the bowl of water and stir it, and the paper disappears in the
Hmm.
water.
Hmm.
So, kind of giving their message up, leaving their message for their person. They
Hmm.
stay in the middle of the circle however they want, and then they walk back out.
Hmm.
And one of my favorite stories a little girl told is that she had walked that circle with her mom, and she just really had a chance to talk to her mom, and her mom was the person who died. So talk to her mom and like say things that she wanted to say and catch up, and had the chance to put the letter in there for her and then come back out. And she said, and at the end I realized like I knew that I needed to go on with my life and that was okay, but I could always come back and be with my mom again, have
Huh.
those moments, those special times. So that's
Yeah.
part of the goal. So they do those before their memorial services, and then they go into their memorial services with candle lights and songs and,
Mm-hmm.
music
Good.
that they have chosen. So it's a powerful experience for them. I think there is something by gathering away from your adults or
Mm-hmm.
your parents or guardians, and they have no phones. We don't let them bring their phones.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it creates a whole new definition of be here now and be present in the moment. So there's a lot of friendships that are built, a lot of self-esteem and strength and courage that we see and that develops and grows, and a lot of support given. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a great,
Terrific. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, so that sounds like a great mix of the grief related programming and the like I said the adventure, the canoeing, the ropes courses. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
terrific. Well, I will keep my fingers crossed for you that you can run it again in person next
Thank
summer.
you. I hope so too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, great. So, and then year round. So you mentioned you have the groups for what was it ages again on the groups?
uh 3 to 18.
Okay, all right,
3
terrific.
to 12. Mm-hmm.
And then also the parents or caregivers of those children have their own separate group.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
great. So good. And then how about now during the pandemic? Are you able to do some type of programming?
Yes, we are. So we immediately got to work when we had to stop those in-person groups. So what we have created are kind of two different, similar but different. So we have a ongoing virtual biweekly groups. So very similar to what our in-person programs are. They're an hour. Um, they also start at pre-K. So we're starting in that 3 to 5 range. The 3 to 5 range is only a half an hour because their attention span is a little less than everybody else's. But everybody else, all the way up to high school, has an hour group. It is a virtual group, so it's online. They run on different days of the week depending on what group. So our middle school group runs on every other Wednesday. Our high school group runs on every Thursday. So we do that for the kids. And then we have an adult parent guardian group that runs. Actually, we have 3 of them that run,
Ah,
probably soon to be 4. So those also run on evening nights from 6:30 to 7:30. So
mm-hmm.
No, it's not exactly the same as it is in person, only because you're not in person. But we are definitely committed and working to create like a really safe space to for them to get support, and it is absolutely better than nothing.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's
So
terrific. Yeah, great. Okay, good. Well, I'm glad to hear that you guys are able to provide support right now and to hear all about your extensive programming in normal times. So,
yeah,
so tell us. Oh, so go ahead. Yes.
I should. Okay, so let me add what we've also just recently developed in because not everyone can make that commitment of that biweekly group and virtual. I know kids are in school and sometimes that is really overwhelming being on Zoom all day and then
Mm,
joining a group at night. So what we've actually created is something called the Sandcastles family community. So people who are calling, when a family calls us, they will get an intake, and one of our clinical coordinators will talk with them and help them in whatever way and provide resources. So they then are invited to join our biweekly. But if for some reason that doesn't work for them, we invite them to join our Sandcastles family community. And in that, we have like I want to say 1 day experiences. So we're doing family night experiences where last weekend they did a broken pot activity. So it was like an art hands-on craft, and we had
mm,
it was actually over 2 days. We had about 33 families participate in that experience. That in a family night format. So that means a family comes on together and they work on a project together.
ah,
Um, so we do that. We're doing a kind of coping with the holidays one coming up where the family again is a family night. And they'll create ornaments and talk about memories and things like that as a family. And then there's also some webinars that we're doing that are educational webinars for the adults. We're doing one on getting through the holidays, things like that. And we have upcoming ones. We're going to do an Ask the Doctor series. We're going to have a
hmm,
teen panel. So teens coming back and talking to who have been alumni for our group, are talking to other teens and sharing their experiences and advice. So really targeting that towards people who might not be able to make that biweekly commitment for whatever reason, but are willing to say, okay, that Friday night I can join that, or I
that
can,
one webinar.
listen to
Yeah,
that.
terrific.
And we did do a camp, a virtual camp in August.
Hmm.
So we kind of transformed camp into it. It was just Friday. It was Friday night and Saturday. That went really well. So we plan on the beginning of next year doing some more virtual camps. So
Mm-hmm. Good,
yeah.
great, good. Well, so tell us again where you're located, the areas you serve, and how people can get in touch with Sandcastles.
Yep. So we are like in the southeast Michigan range. So we serve Oakland, Macomb, and Wayne County. But if you're in a county around there, and I guess you don't have to drive anywhere, give us a call and we're happy to serve you. No driving, so it kind of expands it out.
Yeah.
Um, and so really just give us a call. We have, and if you're not in our service area, we'll, refer you to one of our programs that are around there, around us. The best way to reach us right now really is one of two ways. So either call us at our phone number, the 313-771-7005. Although working remotely, we are right now not at the office. So all those calls get transferred right into an email and then we'll reply. We'll give you a call back right away.
Okay.
The other way is people can email us. So they can use our sandcastles at hfhs.org address. We have a website out there with lots of information about sandcastles.org. And happy to help families in any way or educate the community. We do, a lot of speaking engagements and education. So happy to help in whatever way.
Terrific. Okay, well, I'll put a link to your website then here in the information as well. Uh,
Thanks.
so, yeah, so
Thanks.
Peggy, thank you so much for speaking with me today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.